All right, it is time to talk about Jamaica and specifically the Jamaican women in the sprints, the 100 and the 200. And I might get some criticism about this, but I'm going to try and be as fair and balanced as possible. Now, let me start off the bat and say that I think that the Jamaican women are going to win at least minimum one medal in each of the 100 and the 200 at the Olympic Games later on in Paris. Despite all the narratives that are kind of going on about question marks and stuff like that, I really think that it's going to be hard to keep Jamaica off the podium, again, in the women's 100 as well as the women's 200. But with that, I think most people have started to talk about maybe questions or, the fitness of some of the Jamaican women. And of course, we're specifically talking about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Elaine Thompson-Herah, as well as Shericka Jackson. So I'm going to kind of break this up into a couple different parts. First off, what have the Jamaican women done at the Olympics since about 2008 when, Shelly-Ann kind of set off this wave of Jamaican dominance over the past couple years? On top of that, what is the status of the quote-unquote big three, Shericka Jackson, Elaine Thompson-Herah, as well as Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, as we look forward to the Jamaican Olympic trials, as well as the Olympic Games in Paris later on this summer? Now, who are some of the other Jamaican women that are kind of behind this big three and might be in the conversation to, step up if one of them steps back, or even looking forward into the future, right, as they, start to retire or start to, kind of slow down? Who are some of the other Jamaican women who are going to be in that conversation? And then finally, who are the other major competitors around the world, right? Who are the other women who are going to be challenging for some of those podium spots in the 100 and the 200 at the Paris Olympic Games? So first off, what have the Jamaican women done at the Olympic Games since about 2008? That was kind of the breakout where, of course, Veronica Campbell-Brown has been extremely dominant, even Merlene Ottey, et cetera, but I think with 2008, where Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce won gold, Karan Stewart and Sharon Simpson won the silver medal and they swept the podium, that really set off a wave of dominance and consistency on the podium for the Jamaican women. For example, in the 100-meter dash, we saw 2008, like I said, they swept the podium in the 100. In 2012, we saw Shelly-Ann win gold and then Veronica Campbell-Brown win the bronze medal. 2016, we saw Elaine Thompson-Herah win the gold medal, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce win the bronze. And then 2021 in Tokyo, we saw another sweep. Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and Shericka Jackson. So in the past 4 Olympic cycles, the women have been extremely dominant for Jamaica. They have had a stranglehold on the medals when talking about the Olympic Games in the 100-meter dash. When talking about the 200, it's also been very, very strong. 2008, we saw Veronica Campbell-Brown win gold, Karan Stewart win the bronze medal. 2012, we saw Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce get the silver medal, sandwiched between Allyson Felix gold and Carmelita Jeter bronze. 2016, Elaine Thompson-Herah got that gold medal ahead of Daphne Shippers as well as Tori Bowie. And then 2020, we saw Elaine Thompson-Herah get the gold medal ahead of Christine Mboma and Gabby Thomas. So there's been consistent dominance. That's why I said at the top, Jamaica is very likely, almost certainly going to be on the podium. They have not missed a podium in the 100 or the 200 in any Olympic Games for so long. But as we look in 2024 heading towards Paris, what is the status of the big three women? Like I said, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shericka Jackson. That's the big three when talking about Jamaican sprinters right now. So kind of breaking things down, Shericka Jackson, she actually just opened up her season a couple weeks back running the 100 meters in Jamaica where she ran 11.03 seconds. Then just this past weekend, she ran 22.82 seconds at the Rabat Diamond League. And I think for the most part, it maybe brought a few questions about for a lot of people in the community because slightly slower than she had opened up in previous years where, she's running either 22 low or sometimes, 21 or whatever it may be, right? And also I think the big thing is that she's opened up much later than any other year, especially since she's transitioned into a 100-200 sprinter. For example, every single year, she's run an indoor season. She's gone to the World Indoor Championships and competed as well. Even last year when there was no World Indoors, she ran, I think, 1 or 2 indoor races. On top of that, she's usually opened up in outdoors a little bit earlier when we're talking about maybe March at some early season Jamaican races or even April or so. So for her to open up in early to mid May, that kind of definitely raised a few question marks. I got a chance to speak with Shericka while I was down in Jamaica, and she said that she was looking forward to the year. She hadn't set any goals yet like she usually does, but she's just kind of coming into the Paris year, really focused on getting, meeting some of those goals, potentially getting the gold medal, which she missed in Tokyo, in 2021. But of course, getting on top of the podium in any capacity. Also, after the Rabat Diamond League race where she ran 22.82 seconds, she did say that she was healthy. She did say that it's just building blocks. She has a few more races before the Jamaican Championship. So, she's going to see how things kind of play out. But I'd be lying, and I think most of us would be lying if there weren't some questions. On a personal note, I'm not too worried about Shericka. I think she's going to be very, very ready to get on the Jamaican team and then, hopefully get on the podium in Paris later on this summer. In my opinion, I still think she's a gold medal favorite. The thing that's going to be tough to keep Shericka Jackson off the team is that even if she's running 22.8 right now, let's say she progresses to 22 low, right, or 22 flat. It's going to be hard to see 3 Jamaican women run sub 22 seconds and leave Shericka Jackson off the team. So in my opinion, Shericka Jackson, I think is fine. She's going to be getting onto the team. And again, she's still my gold medal favorite for the 200 as the season progresses. Now, after that, we have Elaine Thompson-Herah. Now, Elaine Thompson-Herah is the double Olympic champion. Double sprint gold in 2016 in Rio, double sprint gold in 2020 in Tokyo. Now, she was supposed to run at the Bermuda Grand Prix a couple weeks back, but there was some confusion or stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure what might have played out there. So she eventually didn't run. She also is slated, I think, to run very soon. So we're going to see her hopefully open up her season very soon. Another thing, very similar to Shericka Jackson, usually she might open up a little bit earlier. She might be running, some early season meets in Jamaica, or maybe some early season meets in May in the United States or something like that. So we haven't seen her actually open up in 2024. So that definitely presents a lot of concern. The other thing is that she's coming off kind of up and downs from the past couple seasons, right? Again, Tokyo Olympics got the double gold there. But 2022 dealt with some injuries, dealt with a sponsorship change, moved from Nike to Puma. She got onto the podium in the 100, but didn't make it in 200. 2023, she was completely injured, so wasn't able to make the Jamaican team. But she did get to the World Championships, and more specifically, after the World Championships, she started to turn up, ending her season running 10.7, I think 1 or 2 times, specifically at the Prefontaine Classic. Now, she did deal with some coaching changes where she was with her original coach, I think by her husband, then she moved to another coach, and now she's with Ronaldo Walcott since I think November or so. So got a chance to speak with Ronaldo Walcott while I was down in Jamaica. Definitely check that interview out. Also spoke with Elaine while I was in Jamaica as well, and she said that she's healthy. She said that she's looking forward to this season. I wouldn't say that I'm, worried in any capacity right now about Elaine Thompson-Herah. The only worry that I do have is if she's not healthy, then that's going to bring up some questions. But I think considering what she's run since at the end of the 2023 season, I think if she continues on that trajectory, maybe not 10.7 at this point, but maybe like 10.8 or something like that, she's very likely going to be able to make the Jamaican team. But that health is very much a key issue that we definitely need to keep an eye out for. So we're going to see, hopefully she opens up soon. If she misses her first race that she's supposed to open up next at, then I'll definitely start to bring up some concerns. But that's Elaine Thompson-Herah. And then finally, we have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the most experienced of all the women, pretty much of all the sprinters that we have consistently running right now. 2008 Olympic champion, 2012 Olympic champion, got the 2016 bronze, 2021 silver medal. So Shelly is the most consistent when talking about the 100 and of course 200 meter accolades as well. The big thing for Shelly is that she is, of course, more experienced, and she's, of course, a little bit older than the rest of her competitors. This is going to be her final Olympic Games, as she's announced, so she's, of course, coming closer and closer to her retirement. Right now, I'm actually not too worried about Shelly in the way that I think some people might be, considering she hasn't opened up. One big thing is that, remember last year, she got injured and she didn't open up her season, I think, until late July. It might have been July 20th. Someone can fact check me on that specific date, but she didn't open up until late July. And then she went on to the World Championships and got a bronze medal, yes, but she ran 10.77 seconds. So within, a month's time frame, she was able to actually get ready, get running fast, and then get onto the podium. That is a huge accomplishment for someone who, again, is not only experienced, but much older relative to the rest of her competition. So considering it's May right now, yes, I would love to see her open up, even if it's in like 11 flat, or even if she ran like 11.1. That would be a great, thing to be able to see. But if she opens up maybe next month in June, a little bit before Jamaican trials, and runs, a decently fast time, maybe 10.9 or something like that, then I would be, feel pretty comfortable about where Shelly-Ann is at. Now, I'd be lying if I didn't have some concerns, just considering her age and considering, how much time she's had in the game. I really do want to highlight that experience is absolutely insane. But I'd be lying if I didn't have some slight concerns about Shelly in terms of her potential to get on the podium. I'm not actually too worried about her getting on the team, but to get on the podium in Paris later on this summer. So those are kind of the big three and kind of the general questions that people have had over the past couple of weeks as we look forward to the 2024 season. One other big thing I want to talk about before I dive into some of the other Jamaican women is that I don't want to kind of translate, specifically with Elaine and Shelly-Ann. People like to say Elaine Thompson-Herah is the double champion. She's always ready for the Olympic season, so she's going to be ready for Paris. Or even Shelly-Ann, she's always medaled at every single Olympic Games, so she's definitely going to be able to medal here. Yes, I sometimes do think that as well. These are some of my favorite athletes, so I love to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's hard for me to just take something that occurred in 2016 with Elaine, right? We're talking 8 years ago, or 2021, 3 years ago. Same thing with Shelly-Ann, things that have occurred in previous years. Those are previous years. They're much older. They're different, athletes now. they're under different, well, Elaine is under a different coach, at least relative to last year. So I can't exactly translate something that happened years ago into what's going on in 2024, right? It's a new year. Yes, we can take some things that we learned from previous years, but I don't want to say Elaine is the double champion. She's always ready for Olympics. She's going to win gold. I don't think things exactly work like that, but I'm always going to give athletes the benefit of the doubt, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do. Now, diving into some of the other Jamaican women and their potential looking towards this 2024 Olympic season. This is kind of an issue a little bit, but when we're talking about the big three, there's a massive drop off behind the rest of these women, right? For example, of course, Shelly, Elaine, and Shericka. But then look at the other women. Probably right now, you'd say Brianna Liston competing at LSU, you could argue she's a top Jamaican right now outside of those big three. And she's only run, what, I think 10.90 seconds just this past, a couple weeks ago at SECs. She's the next best right now, right? You, of course, have other women like Kemba Nelson. She's run 10.88 seconds. You have Natasha Morrison. She's run 10.85 last year, right? You also have Alana Reed. She's run, 10.9s. You have Brianna Williams. She's been up and down, but she's run 10.9s, right? Kavona Davis, right? The Clayton twins. There's a plethora of women from Jamaica who have run, pretty fast in the 10.9s and or 10.8 or so, but again, considering the drop-off from Shelly-Ann, Elaine, as well as Shericka, it gets very, very big. And one thing to note is that Brianna Liston, she's still in LSU right now. She's running in the NCAA. It's going to be hard for me to say that she's 100% going to not only make the Jamaican team, but then get on the podium, right? Carrying all this progress that she's been making through to what, early August or so. That's going to be very tough. There were some, notes that she was potentially injured at SECs, which is something to take into consideration when going to East Regionals now and then NCAAs. Maybe the NCAAs are kind of overworking. I don't want to put that out there, but who knows, right? So it's tough for me to say that Brianna Liston is 100% going to make the team and 100% going to medal. Whereas I feel super confident about Shericka Jackson, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. If they're on the team, I'm picking them to get onto the podium in some capacity. But again, some of these other women that Jamaica has, they have a very, very strong talent pool, but it's hard when you're talking about the medalists getting onto the podium. Some of them haven't necessarily proven that they can do that yet, like the big three have. And the final point that I want to note that kind of connects with this is the other major competition around the world that these Jamaican ladies are going to have to contend with. Again, Shericka Jackson, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, they've proven themselves to be able to get on the podium year after year after year. Some of the other Jamaican women haven't necessarily done that yet. In years to come, I think they will, whether that's this year, next year, 4 years, 5 years. I do think that the Jamaica has a very strong talent pool. Let me be clear. But when we're talking about the rest of the world and competing against the rest of the world, we haven't seen that really huge step up that is going to be necessary with some of the other women, right? You're talking about a bunch of women running between 10.6 and 10.8 in the world right now that are not Jamaican that are going to be contending for the podium. Case in point, we have Sha'Carri Richardson, world champion from last year, 10.65 seconds. She's run 10.6 a couple times as well. She's, of course, going to be the top threat, if not a gold medal threat, along with, Shericka, Elaine, Shelly, et cetera, et cetera. You also have Marie-Josée Talu. She's gotten bronze medals, she's gotten silver medals, but of course she's gotten fourth place a bunch of times, running 10.7 seconds a bunch of times. So she's always going to be in the conversation and in the mix. You have Julian Alfred, just won the world indoor gold in the 60 meters, coming off an insanely fast NCAA season. She has been dominating and she is going to be in the conversation as well. Then you have others like Aaliyah Hobbs, you have Dina Asher-Smith, TT Terry, Tamari Davis, and again, a plethora of other women who have run in what, the 10.6 to 10.8 range. Yes, I know that some of the Jamaican women have been on the rise and things like that, and I might say like TT Terry or Tamari Davis, and people might be like, come on, you're not going to put them in the conversation, but they have run 10.8 a couple times throughout their career. I'm not saying they're going to definitely get on the podium or surpass any of the Jamaican women. I'm not going to pick any of them over Shericka, Elaine, or Shelly-Ann if they make the team, but I would probably actually pick them over some of the others when we're talking about other Jamaican women, like if it's a Kemba Nelson, right? If it's an Alana Reed. I'm not confident in their ability yet. We've seen Tamari Davis actually make the final last year in Budapest. So it's going to be hard for me to bet against some of these athletes who have been consistently proven when talking about the world championships. Not medals yet, but just saying the rest of the world is very, very competitive. And that drop off from the big three is really, really big going down to the next women. Now, like I said at the top, I know I'll probably get a little bit of criticism, but I want to be clear. I really think that one of these Jamaican women, most likely Shericka is the leading one right now, is going to get on the podium in the 100 and the 200. Of course, I didn't even talk that much about the 200 meters, but when talking about the sprints in general, I think Shericka is on pace to be able to do that. But I do want to express some concerns in general and just kind of the sentiment that has been kind of bubbling up as the season starts to progress. Now, again, we have a lot more time, but Jamaican trials is coming up, even USA trials is coming up. All these things are starting to come up where athletes are going to have to make the team. But let me know what you think about the current state of Jamaican women's sprinting. Again, I want to be clear. I definitely have to be clear because I know people are going to come at me for the comments saying I'm bashing Jamaicans. No, the Jamaicans are some of the most dominant athletes. We've seen what they've done from 2008 all the way to 2021, and not even counting the World Championships. But this year, of course, it's going to be very tough as we see some other women starting to really step up from that 10-6 to 10-8 range, and then also some of the Jamaicans maybe not doing as well as we might expect them to when talking about some of the others that are not the big three. So let me know what you think. Go in the comments below, put your opinions there, and always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.